Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. If you're stuck and need help moving forward, be sure to book your complimentary cut to the chase call with me so we can talk about the ways I can help you. Book your call at yourvamentor.com/chase. Today I want to talk about being your own first VA client. Odd concept, isn't it? Today's quote is, "Some things cannot be taught. They must be experienced. You never learn the most valuable lessons in life until you go through your own journey." And that's Roy T. Bennett. Don't worry, I'll explain what I mean, but it definitely has everything to do with this week's quote. Let's go. Starting your virtual assistant business comes with so many things that you don't know how to do. Maybe you aren't sure what to offer as your services. Maybe you aren't sure what to charge. Maybe you aren't sure where to find clients. But many of you are also not sure about how to do the actual work that you need to do and how to charge properly for it. I see virtual assistants every single day who post in the VA groups asking for advice. A client needs me to do this or that. How would you charge for something like this? I am not going to lie, guys. I cringe every time I read those posts, honestly. First off, if you don't know how to do something for a client, you should not be doing it. At least not if you're just getting started as a VA. Don't get me wrong, I'm all about learning on the job, of course, but the issue with this kind of post is the not knowing how much or how to charge for it, and that's the thing that really makes me cringe. Why? Because you're operating a business. You're offering services. You need to know how much the services will cost the client in order to run your business professionally. And if you don't know, you are not ready to work with clients yet, at least for that task. Harsh, right? Sorry, I know, but I do have good news too, of course. You can figure this out pretty easily, so you can work with the client. When you're first getting started, it's actually completely normal to not know how long something takes. I tell you all the time that we don't really get taught to manage our work pace in a corporate job, do we? We're not working against a clock at our job, at least not really, and not in the same way that a virtual assistant does. We trade our time for dollars. Even if you aren't charging your clients by the hour, you're still doing a certain amount of work for the client's money. It's completely normal to feel like, I don't know how long this is going to take. The advice I will always give you is the same. Then do it. How can you know how long something is going to take until you actually do it? You can't. And you know who never asks how long something should take to do? Somebody who has already done it at least once. Maybe it doesn't work the same way every single time, but the person who has done the task at least one time has some idea of how long it should take to do. And this question does not get answered, right? Or does not get asked, I see this all the time, and while it may seem like a simple message to do an entire episode on, I'm going to give you some examples and how to handle them. It's about being your own first VA client. We learn everything by doing, so we need to do it. It's kind of funny how VAs are surprised by this when I give them this advice. How can I figure out how long it takes to do X? Do it. Let's check back in on the episode's quote. I know this is early in the episode. Some things cannot be taught, they must be experienced. You never learn the most valuable lessons in life until you go through your own journey. I really like this quote because it describes what learning does. Yes, of course, we find out how to do something when we learn it, but when we experience it, we go through all of the steps and we actually learn how to do it by going on the journey ourselves. So how does this help us as a VA? I've got a few scenarios for you. Number one is onboarding. Setting up an onboarding procedure for your clients is pretty easy, right? You can Google it or chat GPT it to see how to do it, and that's fantastic. You can figure it out and maybe write down a bunch of steps. But one of the most important parts of actually learning something is what? Writing it down. To retain the information that you learn, Writing it down is highly recommended. So don't just create an onboarding sequence, walk yourself through it. Actually do it. Don't just read through your steps. How long does it take? What does the customer or the client experience as they go through it? What can you do to make it more personal, more efficient? Make those changes or adjustments as necessary. Don't ask someone how much time their onboarding procedure takes. Create your own and then walk yourself through it. Your own journey is going to show you what your clients experience exactly, and you can make sure that you bill accurately. Yes, of course, your onboarding is billable time for your clients. Your onboarding process should be documented with each step required, what information you need to collect from the client, what you need to do with that information, and how long it takes you to do it, including the communication to request it or go back and forth with it. Remember that everything you do for your clients is billable time, and that includes all communication. If you do an onboarding meeting, make sure you also put that into your process. How long is the meeting booked for, and what do you do on it? If one of the things you cover is going through the client stuff to prioritize tasks with them, be sure to hold them to your process. When you document your processes, that's when you can allot the time required to do each step. And then this is important. It's always your responsibility to make sure that task or that step gets done in that allotted time. If you allow an hour for something, make sure that you and the client are working within that hour and get through it, right? That's the accurate time. Whatever your estimates are must be accurate. Never give away your time simply because you have a chatty client or one that loves to screen share, and so your meetings take 4 times as long as somebody who doesn't do that. That's why I always say it's important to be your own first client. Do the onboarding yourself. When you know how long something should take, then you can help your clients keep on target to get theirs done in a timely manner. And if you do get a chatty client, then you can build in pieces to your onboarding process to expedite getting things on time. Forms they can fill in or something like that. Remember, they're retaining you to do their work, not to spend hours and hours onboarding them. But you see how that all works? Number 2 is research. Virtual assistants love to do research. In fact, I don't think there are very many VAs that I talk to who don't tell me how much they love to do it. I love to do it, so I get it. Another very popular question in the VA groups, though, is how to charge for research. In this case, yes, it's very important to know how long something's going to take, but being able to define what you're looking for in the research is the number one place to start. When a client asks you to do some research, you need to know that they don't expect you to charge them for 10 hours of research. Like I said, VAs love their research, and I know a lot of them who would happily spend 10 hours getting paid to do it. Don't get me started on the VA that I hired who did 8 hours of research for me, which was only supposed to be a small part of a 10-hour project. She did so much research that she had no time left to do the actual project using the data. Oh, I guess I got myself started there. Well, you'll hear about it anyway. Oops. While you may not be able to do the actual research for a client first to figure it out, you can actually create a research service for your VA business that has some structure to it. And I highly recommend that you do that. I'll give you some ideas on how to do that. If a client asks you to research CRMs for them, for example, find out from them what their end goal is. Do they want 3? Do they want 5? What are they going to do with the information? Do they need you to set it up or just move their data? What is the deadline to make a decision on which one to choose? These are the types of questions that you need to ask a client when you're going to do research for them. Never mind the CRM. You could probably ask a whole lot more questions than that, but you understand the process, right? You're getting to know the questions you need to ask the client in order to expedite this particular task or project. So in your being your first client, do that list of questions. Ask them of yourself. Write down a draft of the questions that may come if you needed to do this for a client right now. It's actually quite a common kind of research project that clients might ask you to do, something, comparative like that. So do one for yourself. Be your own first client. You can actually go through the process of choosing a CRM for yourself if you like, or just do the project as practice. And then you can use that as work sample or portfolio moving forward too. There's always something that can come from research that you do. So how does that help you in your VA business? Well, Kind of obvious, right? Setting up the process of A, these are the pieces of information I need from the client first. B, what is their end goal? Like, what is the purpose of this research? C, how many pieces of results do they need? And D, what is their budget for the work? Helps you figure out how to prioritize and manage your time. Research should never, ever be open-ended. You should always have a structure and a time limit. And the interesting thing is your client will probably not very often give you that. So it's up to you as a VA offering, like I said, that research service, right? All right, I'm going to tell you, for the VA that I hired, and you may have heard this story before, I tell it often because it's a big lesson. It was a big lesson for me. I told her my budget was 10 hours for this project, start to finish, to collect a bunch of information in research, create a Google Sheet to compile the data, and then start doing initial reach out by email to the people whose information was collected. I thought that was really clear. That VA spent 8 hours on research. And after she started doing the research, I actually never heard from her. I was curious to know whether she was even working on it because I did not see the Google Sheet being built. And when I reached out to her, only then did she tell me that she was having trouble finding good contacts, that she had done 8 hours so far but still had more to go. I seriously choked. I had been so clear from the beginning that my whole budget was 10 hours, but the VA didn't feel the need to give me any status updates after she started the project. There was no way at this rate that she was going to have the time to do the actual work that I needed her to do within my budget. So, obviously not happy. What should she have done instead? I told her, and I'll tell you, she should have started the research, documented any questions, concerns, or issues that she was having, and then at the 2-hour mark, she should have checked in with me to update me on how it was going. If she was struggling, I know I could have given her some pointers, or maybe I could have started to use the data she had collected to do what I needed. I definitely would have been more involved in how my money was being spent as the client. If a project isn't going according to plan, you should always communicate that to your clients, especially when it's costing them money. Research is always a really big learning topic, I think, not just because of this VA and how she botched my work for me, but it's big because I see so many other VAs tell the same story about work that they've done for their clients that goes wrong. And that's why I suggest creating this research process. It helps you keep on track, and it helps you keep the client's end goal in mind, and helps you work as efficiently as you can. And if you describe how you will handle a 10-hour project for your client in the way that I described above, I'll start, and at the 2-hour mark, I'll check in with you to make sure that we're getting what you need, etc. Your clients will be thrilled. They know that you're looking after them and that you're trying to get the job done as efficiently as possible. Time is money, and the money is always your clients. Number 3 is key performance indicators. So fancy. We call these KPIs. I love talking about KPIs. These are numbers that can tell you what the status of different parts of your business are. When you want to be able to show your clients that working with you is a good decision, KPIs can help you understand that and describe it in a way that your clients understand it. Being your own first client helps you do that exactly. It helps you understand what your clients experience when they work with you. It helps you figure out issues that might arise before you even start working with someone. Helps you get processes in place to help you streamline your own operations, and it helps you to set times and rates to specific tasks because you've actually done them, right? You're not guessing, you're not asking someone else. You may have been told to create an SOP, but you think you don't know where to start. Start with being your own first VA client, and I promise you, you're going to figure it out. KPIs can be different for every business, but the principle is the same. You create a report that you update weekly or monthly, whatever, and you compare the numbers from the previous period to see what kinds of adjustments you might need to make to your strategy or your deliverables. If that sounds techie, it's actually not. Here's a simple example. How many discovery calls did you do this month? What was the result of each of those calls? How many calls did you do last month? What was the result of those calls? What does that data tell you? Is your conversion rate going up? Is it going down? If you do more calls, will you get more clients? A lot of people track numbers like email subscribers or email opens, even though they may not be actionable enough as a KPI. In the example that I told you about discovery calls, that to me is super simple. How many clients did you get from your discovery calls? If you did 10 calls and got 2 clients, what can you do differently on this month's calls so that you can get 4 or 5 clients from 10 calls? See how that's really actionable? KPIs is sort of the newfangled way of saying reporting. At least that's what I think. And you don't have to report on everything. That's actually one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make. They create reports that are so in depth or take so much time to populate, and then they don't even use the data in them anyway. By being your own client, you can see what might be valuable and why. And it may not be discovery calls for your clients. They might want to know what their member retention is on a membership program, or how many clients buy their training program after downloading a certain free offer. You can pull all that data together and you can put it into your KPIs, right? You don't have to track everything. That's actually the beauty of it. You can track the things that they will actually use to affect their business. And when you do that for yourself to start, it makes it even easier to explain it to your clients. Reporting is a great service to offer as a VA because you can definitely provide that ROI, but you're also able to help them suggest ways to do things differently in your business. KPI reporting for your clients can be an excellent way to show them how investing in your services can actually help them build their business. You don't have to figure out how to get more of their email subscribers to open their emails, but you can report on the things that they can easily make adjustments to grow their business, right? Being your own first VA client by creating KPI reports that are useful is actually really easy. You just put a simple spreadsheet together, some valid numbers with a schedule to update it, and then you assess them on a regular basis. Couldn't be easier. As usual, let's circle back to today's quote. Some things cannot be taught, they must be experienced. You never learn the most valuable lessons in life until you go through your own journey. I really hope you see what I mean when I say that being your own first client can help you do everything better in your VA business. Instead of just making a list or guessing at stuff, you actually do experience it. You can adjust it. You can see what your clients go through. Maybe you'll see the questions that your clients could have as well and handle those before you even get there. The most valuable lessons, absolutely, are the ones that you will learn going through your own journey. If you need help getting your pieces in place to start working with clients, get in touch with me. I am here to help. It's the only reason I'm here at all, as you know, to help you become a ridiculously good VA. I've helped hundreds of VAs who are stuck get moving, and I would love to do the same thing for you. We can work together privately, through group coaching, private, self-study, free and paid trainings. I have all kinds of ways that should help you. Just reach out to me so we can talk about what you need. Thanks again so much for tuning in this week. I'll see you next time. I have a brand new low-cost monthly membership program that is going to help you build your VA business, and it doesn't require you to be on social media. It's an email membership that I call the Virtual Toolkit. Every Monday morning, you'll receive a lesson and a downloadable resource in your inbox that you can use to take a step further in your VA business. I've created a list of tons of amazing resources for you, from business foundations like financial stuff, calculators, website planning stuff, to marketing tools like branding worksheets, blogging templates, content calendar, marketing campaign planners, to advanced business skills like package planning, branding tools, onboarding checklists, and so on, and personal growth stuff like goal setting worksheets, speaking tips and tools, and conflict resolution tools. All of this is available to you for just $9 a month. You get your first resource as soon as you register, and every Monday after that, you will get a fresh new one. I'm super excited about it. I would love for you to go and check it out. Go to yourvamentor.com/thevirtualtoolkit. Check it out. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.